Welcome back. Right now, first-time homeowners are getting older across the U.S. The average age is now 40, an all-time high according to the National Association of Realtors. But a Twin Cities organization is trying to even the playing field, giving people a fair chance at owning their dream home. Audrey Russo found a woman now living that dream.
And you're going to sign everything using your first and last name for me, please.
Okay.
Have you sign and date.
The hand-cramping exercise
You sign right there.
of closing on a house.
It's getting a little shaky now.
Setting down the pen is usually just a brief rest before the heavy lift
You know,
of moving.
been waiting for this day for a long time.
But Minneapolis's newest property owner, Gwendolyn Stewart, doesn't have to lift a finger to feel at home.
Well, because I've been renting this place for 10 years.
Paying month after month to live under someone else's roof.
I really didn't do much first, to make it my own.
A cycle Black families in the Twin Cities endure over
The homeownership rate is lower.
and over again.
It's even lower than it was in the 1950s.
And by some estimates, it's 51 percentage points lower than white homeowners, among the largest disparities in the country.
That's correct.
Erica Coleman is the president of Land Bank Twin Cities. When investors line up to flip homes, Land Bank Twin Cities steps in by taking control of the real estate. They then hold the property for development, giving families a fair chance at home ownership.
Focusing on those that have been historically disadvantaged or kept out based on race, income, economic status.
When this property was on the path of a proposed Blue Line extension, Land Bank beat investors to buy it and made it a rental. The extension didn't happen there, but so much else did.
My mom was living with me, and my brother, it was a family union. And then my mom passed in 2020. Yeah, my adult children pretty much grew up in this house.
2 months ago, Land Bank was ready to find a buyer. In effortless search
She'll be able to pass the property down, or if she wants to take
in a market
part of her equity out,
of one.
that's how generational wealth is created.
A few dozen signatures changed Stewart's life,
I used to admire this house, and now
indeed,
I own it.
turning the page towards fair housing without moving a single box.
The manifestation of it all.
In Minneapolis,
They come and tell me,
Audrey Russo,
girl, this is the nicest house on the block.
KARE 11 News.
Today, a Cloudflare outage is disrupting dozens of internet services, including OpenAI, Spotify, and Amazon Web Services. The software company said earlier this morning that it is dealing with, quote, an internal service degradation. Now, thousands of websites rely on Cloudflare to secure and manage their internet traffic. While most of the services seem to be back, the company said it's still investigating the problem. Video game-related gifts are becoming a frequent request on kids' holiday wish lists, but when it comes to gaming, there's another thing kids are asking for. Brianna Borghi explains why parents might want to join their kids and play along.
Video games once again topping holiday wish lists, according to the Entertainment Software Association.
The majority of kids are asking for video games. We find that nearly 3 in 5 kids, about 60%, are going to be asking for something video game related.
A new report showing the #1 request is actually in-game currency, followed by a video game console. But also on the wish list is quality time, with nearly 60% of kids saying they want to play more video games with their parents.
Kids are hopeful that mom and dad will sit down next to them, pick up the controller, and turn game time into family time.
Parents buying video game gifts will spend an average of $730.
This is the new Switch 2. It just came out.
But Jamie York at Game Underground in Waltham says you don't always have to buy the latest release.
Sometimes it's okay to get like an older thing. Like you could get the first Switch and save a whole bunch of money. And if it's their first system, they're 6 or 7, they might not mind.
For kids, he says the new Kirby game, Mario Kart, and Pokemon will be the most popular this holiday season. But when shopping, it is important to check a game's rating to make sure it's appropriate. And when it comes time to play, here's what you can do to keep your child safe.
Every device you can play games on has parental controls. Use them.
Now this afternoon, we can tell you the theme for fashion's biggest night. The Metropolitan Museum of Art announced next year's Met Gala will be costume art, focusing on the history of the Met's Costume Institute. It will showcase the Met's newest exhibition, which threads together 200 works of art with 200 fashion garments and accessories. That gala will be held May 4th. Talk about bragging rights. An Indiana professor now has a dinosaur named after him. But it doesn't stop there. Mattel has turned the dinosaur into a toy. Julia Blanford has a closer look at the prehistoric honor.
Now I've got my mini-me, Farlow Icknes.
Dr. James Farlow says his love for dinosaurs began when he was 5 years old, while watching an episode of the Mickey Mouse Club.
And my mother tells me I was just sitting there like, and from that time on I wanted to be a paleontologist.
The main focus of Farlow's research, dinosaur footprints.
A skeleton is a corpse, but a footprint's a sequence of footprints one after another. You're recording the movements of a living animal, and that's really, really cool.
In the world of paleontology, it's common for new discoveries to be named after a paleontologist. So, when scientists discovered footprints belonging to a meat-eating dinosaur in Brazil, they decided to name it after Farlow himself.
So they named these footprints Farlow Icknes.
Less than a year later, Farlow received a phone call from a colleague at the Canadian Museum of Nature saying,
"Did you know that they've made a toy, Farlow Icknes?" And I thought somebody was pulling my leg until I discovered I actually got one, and here's what the little thing looks like.
Farlow says he's told many of his Auburn neighbors about the dinosaur, and now they all want a Farlow Icknes of their own.
If everybody goes to Walmart and says, "Can you get me a Farlow Icknes?" there could be a Northeast Indiana hotspot of people wanting Farlow Icknes toys, and that ought to make Mattel wonder what is going on down there. So that would be an equally funny sequel to this story.
Farlow also says he finds humor in his legacy, sitting on a shelf in toy aisles across the country.
Very cool, but sadly it looks like the Farlow Icknes is sold out. We were able to find some on eBay for about $26. Stick with us, there's more news and weather coming up after the break.